your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
858-988-7477. 858-988-7477. 858-988-7477. That's 858-988-7477.
ESPN Blacksburg is W226AT Christiansburg, WBIN AM Dublin, and W246CR Christiansburg.
This is Sports Center.
Three on the road against number 18 Auburn. Zamir White, short touchdown run early on in the second quarter for the Bulldogs. Stetson Bennett later in the second, touchdown pass to help Georgia extend the lead. 3 versus 4, Big Ten matchup today at Kinnick Stadium. Number 4 Penn State right now, 14-3 lead against a third-ranked Iowa Hawks.
It's time for the Hokie House pregame show. Join the guys right now at Hokie House for complete analysis of today's Virginia Tech football game. Now let's head upstairs at Hokie House for the show.
Yeah, we are at Hokie House for the Hokie House pregame show on ESPN Blacksburg, your local radio station. Paul Van Wagner, Dave Perks, Mike McDaniel, Andrew Alex, John McLaughlin, and Tim Thomas going to join us in the next segment. We're also live on the Voice of College Football YouTube channel if you want to check that out. We are on the main channel and the Virginia Tech channel. If you haven't subscribed to the Virginia Tech channel yet, I encourage you to do so. And guys, come off a bye week, a game, Andrew, that I'm not sure what to make of the Hokies coming off the Richmond game. They should have, in my opinion, blown Richmond out.
Yep.
The game was much closer than it actually should have been, in my opinion. But, hey, a win is a win is a win. And we'll, I guess, we'll continue on from there, right, Dave?
Yeah. We talked before the Richmond game, and, my hope was that we were going to open up the playbook, go crazy, get some stuff on tape that our coaches could evaluate over the course of a couple weeks coming into this game. They did not do that.
Right.
First drive looked amazing. Then we just wandered around between the 40-yard lines for a little while and called it a game.
Justin Fuente said in the post-game press conference coming out of Game 2, we're not equipped to blow people up. That's not who we are. But, Mike, I mean,
some teams you should be able to blow out. Sorry to steal your thunder,
Exactly.
Mike, but holy God.
Richmond, man.
I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. Right?
Sorry.
I mean,
I'm gonna take
it's an FCS school.
Right.
You got to beat them in more than a couple touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
I mean, that's what boils down to.
That's my thought process on this.
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited because I can't wait to get John on for segment number 2 because I kind of want to get into this with him. Like, you go into this game, you're going to win, right? Or at least in theory, you're going to win. So what happens, like, where does the switch get turned on? And as somebody that has never played football at a high level, hell, I barely played football at a low level. I don't know. Andrew, you and I are kind of in the same boat, right?
We're totally in the same boat.
As a backup linebacker for the third-string kickoff team, I can't, man. I don't know. Like,
I mean, exactly. You're exactly right. And I'm not in a position to talk about what it means to get up for a football game.
Right.
But at the end of the day, Justin Fuente says this team isn't equipped to blow teams out. And that's fine. You look at the way that they run the offense, and it would suggest that. However,
we have the talent to blow people out.
On the other hand, right, you got 4 stars and high-level 3 stars all across the board for Virginia Tech. You got the guys on Richmond weren't even scratching the surface for the most part of even getting recruited by Virginia Tech.
Thank God they had the backup quarterback in that day.
The talent is in. And Dave's right. If it's not for a Tavion Robinson punt return, if it's not for a quarterback for Richmond who showed himself in the prior weeks to have a lot of promise getting injured and throwing in a backup for the first time, who knows what direction that game goes in.
Right.
I said with Mike, with Dave, with John, when Paul was on vacation for this Richmond pregame show, I said this is an opportunity to get a lead early on and experiment with some stuff, see what this team can do. We wanted to get the starters out of the game, but unfortunately for Virginia Tech, it never became the case. And we could talk about how we are a play away against West Virginia from being 4-0. Well, we're really a play away from losing to Richmond too. So
we're not
pick
too
your
many plays
poison.
away from being 2-2.
Yeah,
or 1-3.
Yeah, or 1-3 for that matter. That's exactly right. So, glass half empty, glass half full. I don't care. This team's got a lot of questions.
So let me ask you guys this, and I don't know. Hindsight is always 20/20, right? If I told you coming out of, or going into rather, the North Carolina game, that we would be sitting here today getting ready for Notre Dame at 3-1, but we wouldn't be happy about 3-1, would you have bought into that theory?
Yes.
Okay.
I totally would, because that's how our seasons go.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been at this for a long, long time. We talk about this on the show all the time. My freshman year, I'm literally missing my 30-year high school reunion because we got friends coming to town for the 23rd against Syracuse. Totally fine with that. Wow, I've been a fan of this place for a long daggone time. Paul has an abacus that doesn't count that high.
That's true. That is fair.
And here's the thing. I've watched this scenario play out way too many times over the last several years, where we start out with this record where it looks great on paper, but a handful of plays and things could go either way. And we talk all the time about how, like Andrew said, we might be a play or two away from being 4-0, but we're only 5 or 6 plays away from being 1-3 or 0-4.
Okay,
it's very, very easy to do that. Well, we did, and we should have beaten Middle Tennessee, but the other 3 games could have gone either way.
So let me ask you this, because you are literally the only person on this panel, period, that can answer this question. Go back to 99 when you lost the first game of the year and then ran the table the rest of the way. At what point in that run of 11 victories did Hokie Nation go, yeah, okay, we're all right, we're good, we'll be fine, this is okay?
Wait, are you talking about the year we went to the national championship game?
Yeah.
That was we were undefeated. We didn't win. We didn't lose any games.
What was the year where they lost the first
Paul,
game?
I think you're thinking of when they lost to Boise and then they lost to JMU
and
they ran the table out.
Okay, that was like 2010, 2009, somewhere in there.
10 or 11.
Okay.
Yeah. At that point, I was living in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
And we lost to JMU, and seriously, at that point you think, oh my God, like season's done. We've the best thing that came out of that game was the JMU shirt that said it's James Madison's best performance in the Federalist Papers. Hands down, great T-shirt, love it.
Right.
But did not expect to run the table. But probably it took 3 or 4 games to think, okay, we got something going here.
Right.
And this is a lot of fun to watch. But since then, the thing is that we still maintain those disappointing losses, but we've yet to replicate the rebound that shows you that there's something going on.
You two, are you this fickle yet?
Okay.
Or have you not gotten there?
So I will say, to your initial question,
yes.
Would I have accepted 3-1? Absolutely. And I think that any reasonable Hokie fan going into the season would have, should have, and did.
Yes.
I'm not happy with the way it's happened.
Okay.
Of course, North Carolina, I can't really be mad about that game, but even then, it was almost a prelude, an intro offensively in the second half to the problems that we'd have later. That being said, there's always time to right the ship. The question is, do we trust the coaching staff to do it? And I'm not necessarily there. I don't know. Like
3-1 indicates momentum.
Well, no, to build off that point, 3-1, I would have loved. Right?
Yeah.
Early in the year, right? I would have said, preseason 3-1, you're able to, beat UNC or West Virginia, right? And then win the other 2 games.
Yes.
Totally cool with it. My whole thing was, what's Braxton Burmeister going to look like?
Mm-hmm.
And what we've seen through the first 4 games is the coaching staff is worried if they run designed read option plays and he gets out in the open field, he's going to get hurt. Right? Because they're not confident in the depth behind him, which ultimately is on the coaching staff from either a recruiting or transfer portal standpoint or development.
Hooker's stats from,
right.
Yeah.
Keep that away.
Yeah. Well, hold on to that.
All right.
Yeah. Hooker was good again today.
Yeah.
But ultimately, what's going to happen today, and even more importantly throughout the rest of the ACC play coming off the bye week, is Brad Cornelison and Justin Fuente, are they going to trust Braxton Burmeister in the read option game? Are they going to allow him to run? Because the question is, are you either going to, A, allow him to run the read option game, or B, if you don't run him, are you going to be satisfied with the offense and the state that it's in when he's not making plays with his legs and he's staying healthy? Because it's either you keep him healthy and you drastically lower the ceiling of the offense, or you let him run the open field, give the read option game, and you raise the ceiling of the offense and raise the ceiling of the team.
And maybe while you're doing that, if you're looking to develop some depth behind him, don't put Knox Tatum in when you're backed up on your 6-yard line. I'm just.
We can have a discussion about that. We can have a discussion about that.
I have so many questions for John when we get him out of here.
but Mike is exactly right. We know that last year, going into the season, we had a quarterback room that ultimately included 3 dudes who are starting quarterbacks for reputable programs. Right. Patterson's at North Dakota State, who is like the Alabama of that level. Hendon Hooker's over at Tennessee, and of course we have Braxton here. When the decision was made to keep Braxton around, the logic was that he's better in the read option game, not only just reading the defense and seeing the plays, but he was the quickest on his feet and all the hype going into the season. He's the fastest guy on the team. Well, you know, if you're going to neutralize your own best weapon, then what's the point? Because we know that Braxton Burmeister isn't a pure pocket passer. It's not who he is. It's not what he's ever been billed to be. He is more of an athlete playing quarterback than he is a quarterback himself. And it seems like right now the coaching staff, and I understand why, I understand the logic. You got to protect him because he's all you got. But at the same time, this coaching staff, who is, by the way, very much on the hot seat and everyone knows it, made their own bed by letting those 2 gentlemen go and not getting a reputable backup through the transfer portal in the offseason. And they're going to have to sleep in it because ultimately, like, you can let Braxton Burmeister play a half version of what Braxton Burmeister could do, which, by the way, we have seen against Richmond, against Middle Tennessee State, in the second half against North Carolina, throughout the game in West Virginia. But that's not going to be good enough.
I can stand still just as fast as Braxton Burmeister can.
For real.
I'm good at it.
For real, man. And so are we going to take the risk and potentially sacrifice the season if he gets hurt? I don't know. Again, that's the coaching staff's fault for putting them in that position. But at the end of the day, the goal is to win football games and to go out and watch a football team that I love and I care about not basically try as hard as they possibly can to win the game is disheartening.
Here's the thing. Here's my thought on this, and we got to take a break, so I'm going to just say this real quick. You don't take a thoroughbred and stick him in a small pen, right? You let that thoroughbred run. Braxton Burmeister, from a standpoint of athletic ability, is a thoroughbred. Let him go do his thing. And you know what? Heaven forbid, I hope this doesn't happen. If he gets injured, I'm sure if you ask Braxton Burmeister, would you rather get injured out in the open running, free against Notre Dame, or would you rather get injured on a play where you're kind of half-assing it? I'm 100% sure he's going to tell you, just let me go. Let me do my thing.
So one quick follow-up to that. I know that when we stood here before the UNC game, we were talking about this exact same thing, but we were talking about it from the standpoint of we were expecting it to happen, that they were going to set him loose. And I said, I just hope we don't rely on it to the point that we relied on Gerard Evans. Because Braxton Burmeister is not as big as Gerard Evans was. Or still probably is.
He has a track record of being fragile.
He can absorb those hits. But there should be a happy medium between not running him at all and hanging the entire thing on his shoulder pads.
That's fair. Quick break. When we come back, Tim Thomas and John McLaughlin are going to join us. We're going to talk about kind of getting ready for a game, whether it be Notre Dame, whether it be Richmond. I want to pick John's brain. I want to kind of get into the X's and O's and the nuts and bolts, and I know Tim will have fun doing that with me also. So we'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, more of the Hokie House pregame show on the Voice of College Football online, on YouTube, and on ESPN Blacksburg.
Your sports bag full of super sweaty sports knowledge. Jeez, what's that smell?
ESPN Blacksburg. All right, Hokies, we've got your game day all planned out for you. So grab a pen and paper and write all of this down. We're going to meet up about 4 hours before kickoff at Hokie House to tailgate. Their friendly staff will take care of all of our food and drink needs so we can concentrate on cheering Virginia Tech to victory. Then we'll head over to Lane Stadium with our bellies full to cheer for Tech. And after the game, we're going to want to celebrate. After all the cheering, yelling, and excitement, we're going to be hungry and thirsty again. So after the game, let's head back to Hokie House. Here's the deal. You're going to find lots of things on their menu that you want during the tailgate party, but just couldn't eat. So for round 2, we'll celebrate the Hokies' victory with the best victory party in all of Blacksburg. That party is at Hokie House. Or if you just want to go home and chill after the game, Hokie House can deliver all those items you saw earlier in the day right to your home with their home delivery service. That's Hokie House, 322 North Main Street in Blacksburg, where deliciousness jumps into your mouth.
What's a home? When you grew up, you didn't care if your house was small, if the curtains were old, or if you had to share a room with your brother and the guinea pig because they both smelled the same. The important things about home were sneaking in bed with mom and dad when it thundered, licking the beaters when mom made chocolate cake, playing hide and seek in the backyard. Even now, when you care about things like square footage and neutral colors, you still want to buy a home that gives you all the good feelings of the one you grew up in. You want a home where you walk in the door and say, this is it. This is the one.
We know more about the heart and soul of a home. For more info, visit nrbgatewayrealty.com.
Hi, I'm Sheila Smith, branch manager of the Fairlawn office for the First Bank and Trust Company. One of the things I enjoy most about my job is working with people, both customers and our associates. Our customers commonly say they most appreciate the way we greet them by name and treat them like family. So when you're ready to experience the best in community banking, visit your local First Bank and Trust Company office or visit us online at www.firstbank.com, member FDIC.
Are you looking for the right dental office for you and your family? At New River Dental Associates, we want you to have the healthiest and best looking smile possible. Conveniently located at 210 Professional Park Drive in Blacksburg, we provide routine dental checkups, dental implants, and everything in between. We participate with the most popular insurance providers, including the dental plan for Montgomery County Public Schools. Choose your neighborhood family dental provider. Choose New River Dental Associate. For more information, visit newriverdentalassociates.com today.
What sets your local pharmacy apart from the big box stores? How about the fact that your pharmacist and the staff knows you by name and greets you with a smile every time you stop in? How about the fact that if you have a question, you can ask your pharmacist without waiting for an appointment? How about the fact that they'll bring your prescription to you anywhere downtown at no charge? If these sound like great reasons to use your local pharmacy, then Main Street Pharmacy in Blacksburg would love to transfer all of your prescriptions to them. Check them out today at msblacksburg.com. Main Street Pharmacy, your local resource for all of your prescription needs.
It's the Hokie House pregame show on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg. I'm Paul Van Wagner. Dave Perk's going to hang out with us for another segment. Tim Thomas joining us today from Tech Lunch Pail. How are you, my man?
Doing great, Paul. You know, I've seen our other guests here. Saw them this morning getting breakfast over in Roanoke. So
now, the question is, can you eat as much as John does?
Probably not.
No. John McLaughlin joining us. Yes, that John McLaughlin. That was what I said to him when I first met him up in the press box.
That would be the John McLaughlin.
The John McLaughlin. How are you, my man? How's it going?
Doing well, man. Thanks for having me on. Glad
Excellent.
to be here.
Thank you for being here. So I want to ask you, as a former player, we talked a lot about kind of that getting ready. You know, I mean, you played in games. You played against ODU. You played in those games where it was like, yeah, on paper, we should truck these guys. And sometimes it worked out and sometimes it didn't. Is there, whether right, wrong, or indifferent, is there a different mentality depending on who you're playing each week as you get ready for those games?
As a mature team, there shouldn't be.
Right.
I will say that. You should come to every game trying to dominate your opponent. That's a mature team.
Right.
That's a team that's trying to be great, not just average.
Yeah.
What we saw in Richmond was an average team, to be honest. You know, we didn't see a team that came out and executed like they should, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Looks like all 11 people have to do their job for them to succeed. So that's the difference in, you know, being a mature team and being average and great.
How many guys does it take to half-ass it for it to look like Richmond did? And I don't want you to call anyone out specifically, but you mentioned 11 guys, right? Like, if 10 show up and play, are you okay? Is it 9? Is it 6? Like, what is kind of the number where it's like, oh, man, we got to get our stuff together because we're in trouble right now?
You need all 11.
Okay.
All 11,
okay.
Every single play to execute at a high level and do their job. That's the main goal. That's how you win football games. That's how you dominate opponents.
That's fair. Timmy, I want your take. We had the bye. We come off the Richmond game. We've talked about this a little bit on the drive, but, you look at what happened and how it happened, and what is your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a lot of disappointment. I mean, you look at this offense, and it's just inconsistency. It's just bizarre. And, like I said, at some point, it goes back to the program. It goes back to Justin Fuente and Brad Cornelson. This is their offense. This is their unit to develop. I mean, you look at the offensive line changes. Those help some, but they need Silas Janzi. The depth at tackle is a concern, and you need a healthy Janzi, for that success. But it's just a combination of inconsistencies that has to get rectified. The defense was okay. They were fine in that game. They did, 10 points. You'd love to shut out a Richmond.
Right.
But they were still solid.
Yeah.
And the special teams were great, and that's what saved Tech in the end of the day from what would have been complete disaster and Justin Fuente not probably being the coach we're talking about today for Virginia Tech.
Right.
Well, and you look at the defense, guys, and, I mean, outside of West Virginia, and really West Virginia, you can kind of look at that as two big plays, right? You had the draw play that went up the middle, second play of the game for 80 yards. That play probably, if they run that play 100 times, Virginia Tech shuts that play down 99 out of 100 times, right? That's a fluke play, man. That thing's not even designed to go 80 yards.
Right.
That's designed to they were literally setting something up later on, right, with that play.
Yeah.
And then there was like a couple.
And then they
of
didn't
others.
need to.
No, exactly.
That was the best job as best situation as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
You're trying to set it up, and the first thing takes it out of the way anyway.
So my point is, you look at the other games, right? North Carolina, you give up 10 points. Middle Tennessee, you give up 14 points. Richmond, you give up 10 points. This defense, from last year to this year, Tim, it's night and day, right? This was a defense that was giving up 34.5 points last year.
Yeah.
I'm not a
Justin
math guy,
Hamilton.
but this is like 11 points outside of West Virginia.
We talk about a guy, Justin Hamilton, who's been considered around Merriman a rising star. This is the evidence right here. This is a guy who may not have been ready to be a defensive coordinator last season and then got thrown a terrible deck. There's somewhere, but guess what? He took his medicine. He got better at his craft. He's got a great staff around him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Ryan Smith should be a defensive coordinator next season somewhere in college football, whether a group of 5 or a smaller Power 5 program. That guy can recruit. He can coach corners. We saw against NC State last year, when he was called upon. Jack Tyler, the linebacker play's been tremendous. I mean, Jack Tyler deserves tons of credit.
Jack Tyler is one of my all-time favorite Hokies.
And it's great
that
having.
guy is legit.
And it's great having.
Second all-time favorite behind John McLaughlin.
There you go.
There we go.
That's why I said one of.
There we go.
Well, I'm not dumb.
Third is
to your
Manny
point
Cole.
there,
Yeah.
offense has to feed off of defense.
Yeah.
That's how the game goes, man.
Yeah.
You have to feed off, and you got to step up with that chip on your shoulder.
Right.
Like, offense is playing. I mean, defense is playing at a high level.
Yeah.
Offense, let's go.
the
Offense
offense gotta be
go
opened
out
up.
and make something happen
Absolutely.
to keep those guys fresh and keep them hyped for going back out.
And
doing
it's got to
what
be
they do.
opened up at some point. I mentioned it's on Tech Lunch Pail. The read option. Where's that been since North Carolina? Where's all the motion that we saw?
Right.
You look at the second half. You watch the second half of that game. They struggled a lot offensively in the third quarter. You know what changed the fourth quarter when, yes, they didn't score a lot, but it was a lot more productive. They chewed a lot more clock. They started using motion. They started using these options.
And it's regressed since then. It's come backwards.
It's regressed by their own volition.
Yeah.
By Brad Cornelson, Justin Fuente's own volition.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just one of those things. At some point, it's time to get it done or not. And I mean, like I said, sometimes you can't be so scared. The Ryan Wills, scared money don't make money.
Right.
Well, scared money don't make money. Look at Hendon Hooker. Look at what he's doing at Tennessee. 4 touchdowns in the first quarter. They're letting him throw the ball around.
Yeah.
And guess what? He's got as many passing touchdowns this season so far in about 3-4 games as a starter as he did all last year. At one point, 28 passes, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech's got 5 passing touchdowns this season.
Yeah.
Can we get down in the weeds? Are you cool with that?
Yeah, most definitely.
All
Most
right.
definitely.
So I want to ask you, as someone that played in the offense, I'm just going to ask the question. Is Brad Cornelson in over his head?
Well, it's hard for me to say because the year I played in 2016, we were loaded, man.
Right.
We had Gerard, we had Isaiah, Bucky. We had talent around.
Yeah.
So I will say when they came in, they simplified the offense for us because we can just throw it up, Gerard can run.
Right.
So it was a little different. It's hard to answer that question. I don't say he's in over his head because I know he's a great guy and he does his job well. It's just execution, I think.
Okay.
I think it's definitely everybody's not clicking. We have to establish a run game. That's first and foremost.
But I mean, I don't know any of them, but I'm sure they're all great guys.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't have any doubt about that. But doesn't execution come down to coaching ultimately?
Yeah, it does. It does. It's just,
I think
it goes
that's
with
the
them too.
frustration that I think.
Yeah.
I'm on this show as the voice of the fan, and we see Fuente every week coming into press conferences talking about execution.
Right.
But never owning that sense of execution.
Yeah,
Ultimately, to me, if I'm coaching my own kids' team, if they're not executing,
Those
then
poor
I'm
kids,
taking
by
notes
the
about
way.
what I need to do next week.
Well, you look at the
In practice.
comparison.
Yeah, that's true.
You look at the comparison of the offense to the defense. The offense has seemed to regress. Which part of it, in all honesty, could go a lot of things. Look at Justin Fuente. I get the wanting this competition, but at some point you got to have some more loyalty to the quarterbacks you have, whether it's Jackson or Willis or Hooker.
Right.
In some cases, it's worked out. This time, Burmeister's just a limited passer. That's just the reality. Hendon Hooker was not. And in all honesty, we don't want to go down the what-if rabbit hole too much. But if Hendon Hooker's still here in the starting quarterback, this team's 4-0.
Well, and the thing to Paul's point earlier too, if you're going to keep Burmeister around because he's the better all-around athlete, but then you're not going to let him be an all-around athlete on the field.
The RPOs and things like that, which has been a
you're basically shooting yourself in both feet at that point.
You got to let him run. You got to let him run in the rushing game. You got to let him run the option. You got to use. It's been nice to see those RPOs a little more. That is a positive sign.
Yeah.
But it's just a comparison of the offense to the defense. The defense grown so much, the offense just has regressed. I made the comment last segment, John, that I'm sure if you ask Braxton Burmeister, and nobody wants to get hurt, but would you rather get hurt out running, doing your thing, or being stuck and kind of handcuffed? I would assume that Braxton, as an athlete, as a player, wants to go out. He wants to do what he does, right? Like the whole kind of handcuffing him thing. He can't be happy about that.
Yeah, as a player, man, it's frustrating not having those plays for you that's designed for you.
Right.
Them not being called. It is frustrating, very frustrating. So what I'll say is we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see if they finally open up this playbook and finally get him in the running game.
Is this the game to do that when you're taking on a top 15
It has to
blue
be.
chip team?
It has to be.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Scared money don't make money.
Absolutely. It definitely has to be. You have to make this game the game.
As a former offensive player, what are you looking at? What are you seeing out there where you go, oh, man, damn. Or, yeah, that's good. I like that.
So the main thing I'm seeing, especially on the offensive side of the ball, I want to see how the players respond. I don't care what's called.
Right.
I want to see how those players respond and the leadership on the team to say, I don't care what's called. We're going to run it to the best of our ability. That's all you can do. Control what you can control. Right. You can't control what the coaches call. When I say execution, I'm not only talking about the players. I'm talking about the coaches too. And they know their reason why execution is not happening.
Sure.
So they had a bye week. So we'll just have to see.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. As a fan, what are you looking for?
I am looking for a willingness to take chances, honestly, because all we've seen so far, I mean, we saw it against Richmond, the most conservative play calling and approach to that game management across the board. Like the first quarter against Carolina was exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Not much has been since then.
Right.
I mean, I mentioned earlier, we just kind of wandered around between the 40-yard lines. That's pretty much been our offense for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And my hope, to John's point, over the last couple of weeks with all of that time is we're working on that execution to the point where we feel confident about letting Burmeister go and then dealing with what happens after he does.
How much of what we saw against Middle Tennessee and Richmond was by design because you don't want to show Notre Dame and you don't want to show West Virginia? Like, you don't want to open up your playbook and have all that on tape for them. There's got to be some surprises, right? West Virginia, we got behind early. Tough. You got to kind of table some stuff so you can come back and get back into that game. But how much of what we did or didn't see against those teams was just kind of, we're going to hide this in our back pocket?
Well, I don't think coaches hide anything. Every game plan is different week to week. So there's nothing to hide. You got a game coming up on Saturday. You got to execute, and you got to new playbook. You get a whole new packet every single week. So to say they're hiding plays, it just wasn't in that packet. I would say it wasn't in that plan. So that's the difference. We just need to see everything come together.
Well, and to that point, I mean, I think there is a misconception amongst fans that like there's a playbook and we're just holding some of it back because we don't want other people to see it.
Right.
And to those fans, I would say this would be the game. Like, if you're holding it back, I guess this is the game you're
Let it
waiting
out tonight.
for.
Let it out tonight.
So if that's the approach, then it's got to be this weekend.
Absolutely.
But to your point, I hope that they're putting together a playbook that's a little bit thicker than the ones that we've been seeing the last few weeks.
We all hope.
I don't know, Timmy. The Green Bay Packers back in the '60s had 6 plays, and you just had to stop those 6 plays.
Well,
Nobody
you know,
could,
well,
but,
yeah, you know,
that
if
comes
Tech
down
had
to
6
talent,
plays,
coaching, and execution.
well,
doesn't it?
yeah, if Tech had 6 plays, they could do like the '60s Packers. You know, we'd have a different conversation right now. We might be talking about a top 10 team tonight, a top 15 matchup, which would be nice. That'd be fun.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Tim's going to stick around. I'm going to bring Mike and Andrew back. We're going to take a lap around the ACC. At the end of the show, we're going to have everybody come back. We're going to make our picks. We still have some games that haven't kicked off yet. We have some games that are going on. We'll still make the picks. Thanks to John for hanging with us today. I love the insight. We got to get John on the drive with us. I want to spend like 15 minutes just digging in your brain and playing around in there, man. So if we can do that sometime, we got to make that.
Let's do it.
Let's
do it.
All right, I like it. Stick around because we're going to do picks here. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll run around the ACC real quick. It's the Hokie House pregame show on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg.
2 knots on the left shoelace, 1 on the right, a Gatorade and a handful of peanut M&Ms, Eye of the Tiger at full volume, or maybe just a little talcum powder in the shorts. Hey, we won't judge your pregame rituals if you don't judge ours.
ESPN Blacksburg, 93.1. 810, 97.1, and live on the web at espnblacksburg.com.
All right, Hokies, we've got your game day all planned out for you. So grab a pen and paper and write all of this down. We're going to meet up about 4 hours before kickoff at Hokie House to tailgate. Their friendly staff will take care of all of our food and drink needs so we can concentrate on cheering Virginia Tech to victory. Then we'll head over to Lane Stadium with our bellies full to cheer for Tech. And after the game, we're going to want to celebrate. After all the cheering, yelling, and excitement, we're going to be hungry and thirsty again. So after the game, let's head back to Hokie House. Here's the deal. You're going to find lots of things on their menu that you want during the tailgate party, but just couldn't eat. So for round 2, we'll celebrate the Hokies' victory with the best victory party in all of Blacksburg. That party is at Hokie House. Or if you just want to go home and chill after the game, Hokie House can deliver all those items you saw earlier in the day right to your home with their home delivery service. That's Hokie House, 322 North Main Street in Blacksburg, where deliciousness jumps into your mouth.
At ACR Tech Consulting, we think of ourselves as your computer marriage counselor. We know that you fell in love with your computer at first sight, but sometimes you don't seem to understand each other.
Oh, what's your problem now?
That's where ACR Tech Consulting comes in. We fix computer problems most times the same day, and we'll take the time to explain things in a language you can understand. At ACR Tech Consulting, we offer affordable flat rate services for many common and often otherwise expensive computer problems, so your system stays up and running. Learn more at acr-tech.com. Your IT needs, our human solutions.
We are making it happen at the Used Car Superstore on the Sheeler Motor Mile with more selection, more value, and more options. Over 1,500 used cars in stock and ready for delivery. All makes and models to choose from and all in one location. Plus, Sheeler is your credit source. We own the finance company and make it easy to buy with in-house financing. Our credit specialists are standing by to give you a second chance. We are making it happen with over 1,500 used cars in one location at the Used Car Superstore on the Sheeler Motor Mile. Why start anywhere else?
We're here today with Eric Leuschner, owner of Real Property Management Insight in Blacksburg, Virginia. Eric, one of the biggest hassles when you own a rental is going out and doing maintenance. How can you help with that?
Paul, making sure the property is taken care of is one of the main concerns people express to us. And maintaining the property is one of the main jobs of a property manager. This is more than just changing a light bulb or smoke detector battery. A property manager should make periodic inspections of the house during the term of the lease, checking for any leaks, clean filters, and looking at cleanliness and safety. A good property manager will have a team of qualified vendors on call to handle plumbing, electrical, HVAC, or other problems. They can often get the repair done quicker and at a lower price than an individual.
That's some great
homeowner.
info. Thanks, Eric. If you'd like more information on renting your property, log on to insightrpm.com.
Real Property Management Insight. Own the home, not the hassle. Licensed in Virginia.
It's Mr. Studio Girl.
Hey girl, hey girl, hey girl, hey girl, hey girl.
never see you come. Got a couple bottles, but a couple ain't enough. Bottoms up, up. Throw your hands up.
It's the Hokie House pregame show on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg. I'm Paul Van Wagner. Tim Thomas joining us. Tech Lunch Pail. Mike McDaniel from
Oh my God!
Mike McDonald.
Holy
McDaniel.
Ronald
Either way, he had
Ronald
farm.
McDonald joining us.
Paul, you know me for a while, man.
I know.
Come on.
I know. I'm
Come
doing
on.
too many things. I'm
Yeah, I
doing too
know.
many things
I
at
know.
once. It's all
You're
good.
busy.
It's all good.
You're busy.
We're gonna take a lap around the ACC. We're gonna start with the game that's going on currently. We got a couple of them in the third quarter, actually, guys, and some surprises here. I don't know if I'm surprised, Mike. Louisville up right now, 27-13 on UVA. I know we've got a lot of questions still about Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, look, Virginia is a one-trick pony on offense. Brandon Armstrong's been very, very good. I mean, he's one of the guys. If you were to make a ballot for all ACC team or like ACC Player of the Year, Brandon Armstrong would be in there.
Yeah,
He's been very good. The problem with Virginia is they're very one-dimensional on offense, right? It's live and die by Brandon Armstrong. Then defensively, they haven't been very good. So it's been just totally reliant on him. Passing, running. They can't run the ball with their running backs.
Yeah.
They can't play defense very well.
Pretty surprising.
Yeah. So when you look at this game and you look at the score right now, it's not too big of a surprise because I mean, Louisville looked really bad in the opener on Labor Day night against Ole Miss, especially in the first half. But since then, they've been very good. And they've been a team that's been sneaking up on people because, a lot of folks forgot about them after that opener. They were like, all right, well, they don't look good against Ole Miss. They're not going to be very good this year. They've been quietly, sneaking up on people. I think they're one of the better teams in the Atlantic. So it's not a huge surprise that they're playing well today.
Yeah, and you look at the top 20 in the country, and that's where their two losses are. Ole Miss and Wake Forest.
Right.
I mean, but I am surprised, though, because UVA profile with Armstrong, very much like Matt Corral, guy who's been throwing it prolifically, running it well. 2 interceptions for Armstrong so far. It doesn't helping, but I agree with you. I think Louisville's proven they are one of the better Atlantic teams.
Yeah.
And like I said, you look at the quality of losses, top 20 teams, that says something about the fact that, their losses are aging well. This team's better than we thought.
Yeah,
Jimmy,
sure.
I don't mean to toot my own horn, but before the season started, I talked about Matt Corral in that offense as a potential Heisman candidate, and he's lived up to the bill. That first loss, I feel like a lot of people, even fans within the ACC, looked at the loss that Louisville had against Ole Miss and wrote them off immediately.
Yep.
And
the first half,
I think this Ole Miss team is better than what a lot of people believe them to be, and as such, for Louisville, it comes down to Malik Cunningham. What Malik Cunningham are we going to see? 2019 or 2020? And for the most part of this season, it's looked more like 2019, and henceforth, Louisville's having success.
Yeah. Andrew's sitting down right now. The two of you might want to sit down when I tell you right now in the third quarter, 11 minutes left in the game, or in the third quarter, rather, Florida State is currently beating UNC 21-10.
I have no explanation, Paul.
How much money are you going to lose on this game? Just
Okay. So, full disclosure, I did not bet on this game.
You lying tramp.
I did. It's one of the ACC games I did not bet on this weekend.
Which seems like one of the best ones to bet on with UNC only 17.
I know, right? Yeah, 17-point favorite. Now, I did not bet on it because I thought if Florida State controlled now, I didn't expect them to be leading at halftime, be controlling the game. Totally.
Yeah.
But I thought that if North Carolina came out, turned the ball over a couple times, I thought Florida State might be in a position where they could control the time of possession and make this game closer than a lot of people thought. Now, 21-10, I did not see coming. That is a surprise, right? I did not see that coming.
College football.
Right.
That's all. That's the only explanation I got.
Right.
College football. I mean, they're so inconsistent this year. They lose, then they beat someone by 30. Then they lose Georgia Tech, then they beat Duke or something by 50 or something. This team makes no sense.
Yeah.
Random drunkards are screaming UNC's a fraud over here.
I mean, they could. I mean,
relative to
they
the top
could
10
be
ranking.
But
Andrew, we talked about this. This isn't fraudulent. We knew going in. Yes, Sam Howell is a hell of a quarterback, maybe the best quarterback in the nation. But you and I are running routes for him right now. Like, the dudes that he has running routes for him are not name brand wide receivers.
Look,
It's not like
I
last year.
didn't come on this radio program to disrespect Josh Downs because I think he is a
Oh
heck
my
of
goodness.
a
He's
talent.
fantastic.
The guy's a star.
He's fantastic.
But
Yeah, it's really good.
The other guys,
we
though,
look
are
back,
us.
and of course, the first game of the year, especially for Virginia Tech, when you're playing a team like North Carolina, we had months, essentially, Paul, on our daily radio program, for me and Mike on our podcast, of trying to project what was going to happen. And you're exactly right. We knew who the quarterback was going to be and what he brought to the table for North Carolina. There were question marks all around. And my belief when I picked North Carolina to win that game and what the general national media's take was when they ranked them, clearly overranked them, 10 in the country going into the year, was that is something that they'll just figure out on their own. That's obviously not the case. But I will go to something that you do a lot with Florida State, and you say, oh, how bad can it get, right?
Yeah.
You said they have all the talent in the world. Why are they so bad? It's an undisciplined football team. And now, collectively, the ACC media, ACC fans, we've written them off, but they still have that talent. So they are, as a bad team, probably the primo upset candidate ever, because if they can just get it all together for 60 minutes of a football game, they're forced to be reckoned with, and that's what North Carolina that's what Florida State looks like right now. And North Carolina is on the other end of that, and not ideal.
You'll probably still go 4-8. So
The talent's there. They're not going to make the bowl game.
Did this not happen last year? By the way, Mac Brown has never beaten Florida State before.
Yeah,
makes no sense.
Yeah,
it's just cursed.
Guys, in the land where dreams go to die, Syracuse is currently up on the Fighting Chase Mumas of Wake Forest, 21-20.
Can we just tear down the Carrier Dome?
Oh my God!
You know, I kind of wish John
No
was
kidding.
in here for this segment because I want to ask him why that place is such a crap hole. Maybe we'll get into that later when we have him on the drive. Wake Forest is coming back. I really, truly believe, Mike, that Wake Forest is one of the best teams in the ACC. Dave Doran just keeps, he's got dudes there that are two-star dudes that are just balling out playing football.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Wake Forest is that, in a down year in the ACC, you can count on Wake Forest because they're always well coached, right? They don't always have the best recruits. In fact, they never have the best recruits.
Right.
But you can always count on them to be very well coached. Yep. Now, in a down ACC year, when Clemson's not as good as a lot of people expected, you have Boston College because they had the injury taking a step back. North Carolina, we just talked about, not as good as a lot of people expected. Miami's not as good. You have a team like Wake Forest step up, and they're very well coached, and they have, players that they recruit to their program that they know are going to be successful there. They're comfortable with what they got there, offensively, defensively, special teams, and they're traditionally a 7 or 8 win program. They can step up and win 9 or 10 games. Now, that is because of where the conference is, because, there are some opponents in the Atlantic specifically that are down this year. But with that being said, you can't take away what Dave Clawson has done at Wake Forest and what he's done with his recruits and his players, and what they've been able to do with the guys that they have. They always execute well to their personnel.
Yeah,
right?
You're 100% right, Mike. And it's one of those things where if you just look at Wake Forest on paper, take away the coaches, take away the players, just the resources, the program, the size of the school, the alumni base. Wake Forest is a bottom 3 football program in the ACC.
Yeah, for
along
sure.
with them, along with Duke and Syracuse.
A bottom 10 football program in
Power 5.
Power 5, for
and,
sure.
And Dave Clawson's
sure.
had him as a 7-8 game winner.
Yeah.
How Clawson is still at Wake Forest, how all of these ADs hire these search firms, and they overlook a guy who's built 4 programs. 4 as a head coach. That just blows my mind.
Do we know that he's not been considered for jobs, though?
It's unbelievable.
You never hear his name in the national, and I get it. There's more stuff.
The national media is going to look past a guy like Dave Clawson, but on the internal side, you have to consider a name like that. I would hope so, or else these search firms just clearly aren't doing their own job.
Well, these search firms are just complete money, maybe legal money laundering, but
considering the talent on the team, I believe that Clawson is one of the 2 or 3 best developmental coaches in the ACC.
Look,
I truly believe
maybe
that.
the best. I think I'd say the best.
We talk about developmental programs in this country, and the names that always come up are Iowa and Wisconsin, because they're never in that top 25. They're rarely even in that top 40 for recruiting. But, I mean, we have a TV right there showing a number 3 Iowa team, despite the fact they're losing. They don't have near the recruiting prowess as Penn State, but they have some recruiting prowess. Wake Forest is a team that they fall into the 70s in those recruiting rankings, and they don't bat an eye. That's just how it goes.
So I guess my question to you guys is it Dave Clawson or is it Chase Mumma? Is Chase Mumma the reason why this program?
It might be I love me some Chase.
It might be the extra
I
boost,
love
you
me
know,
some Chase Mumma.
Paul, if they lose, it's Clawson. If they win, it's Mumma.
All right. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. We all look. Chase Mumma is our boy. We've got a signed Chase Mumma jersey in the studio of ESPN Blacksburg. We are Andrew and I are going to see the Wake Forest UNC.
I'm super excited.
The non-conference game.
Yes,
the non-conference game.
Chase has got a special place in John McLaughlin's heart.
Chase is our boy, man.
I have one more quick point to make, though. We love Wake Forest. I think that they very well could be the ACC Atlantic champions.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, Wake Forest is an overachieving program. That's what we've talked about.
That's a beautiful thing.
And the idea of them winning
Clawson
the
needs a
conference,
bigger job, man.
running the table,
Clawson needs a bigger job.
Like,
Oh, my goodness,
they're
yes.
going to have a bump in the road somewhere along the line. It's just a matter of when. I hope it's not today against Syracuse. I believe that they'll come back and win.
But here's the thing, right? Like you said it, they're an overachieving team. Go back to segment 1 of this show. The people that are covering them, that are doing what we're doing, are like, we're 5-0, man. Woo! They're waving the way.
Yeah.
Nobody's picking apart anything.
I'll tell you
that
what.
they're doing.
I'll say this because I don't
You're
have
Mike
any.
McDaniel,
I don't care.
and it's
I'll say it.
Saturday.
If Virginia
And
Tech,
Mike McDaniel, SOS on Twitter.
put it out there first because people have a problem. They can just tweet at me, whatever. If Virginia Tech were to move on from Justin Fuente,
Yes.
Dave Clawson should be in strong
That would be-
consideration.
that would be
he should
the-
he should be
that
in
would be-
strong consideration.
If we could
Yeah.
get them, that would be the dream, in my opinion. In my opinion.
He'd be in strong consideration. I think he would do extremely well in Blacksburg. Now, I don't want to lower the flag, lower the sail on Justin Fuente yet. But look, if this were to go south in the second half of the season,
Well, there may not be much more lowering to do right now.
Hey,
so
hey, they're 3-1.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, I agree with you.
It's the weird
I
part.
agree with you,
This
Tim.
team could go. That's
Tim,
the thing.
I
You look at
agree.
the schedule. They could go 11-1. They could go 3-9.
I look at the schedule. It's unbelievable.
Okay, but why did ACC media, knowing that this was a team that brought back the vast majority of production, knowing what Dave Clawson has been able to do in Winston-Salem, pick them to finish second to last?
It doesn't
in the
make
Atlantic?
sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Because they are throwing
got it
darts at the wall
They
with
got it
name
wrong.
brand schools like Florida State and saying, "Oh, they'll do better than Wake Forest." Look at the track
They got it
record.
wrong.
It's not the
They got it
case.
wrong.
It's
Last year, they picked Virginia Tech basketball to finish 14th in the ACC.
Yep.
And
That didn't make sense either.
They were a tournament team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I will say this. Our colleagues and us in the media are dumb. We don't know what the hell we're talking about. And I don't know why they should actually, in all seriousness, they should let dudes like John that actually played football make these picks, because he has an educated, he has a clue what the hell's, we don't have a clue.
Yeah, with that said, I do ACC. I would like a ballot on the ACC preseason awards at some point.
Yes, Tim, of course you do.
I
we got
picked
commercial break.
Miami. All right. I made a mistake.
And
We're all going to make we all make mistakes.
You're not wrong yet, Paul. We need to go
Where's
commercial
our
break.
attorney
Get these picks
Spotty?
in.
All right, a quick break. When we come back, we've only got a couple of picks to make. We'll make those coming up next. It's the Hokie House pregame show on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg.
The ultimate competitive advantage without the pesky side effects and legal issues of PEDs. This is your mega dose of sports adrenaline.
ESPN Blacksburg, AM 810, FM 93.1, 97.1, and ESPNBlacksburg.com.
Tackle even your toughest business challenges with support from First Bank and Trust Company. Hi, I'm Holly McClung, Business Relationship Representative for First Bank and Trust Company. We are in the business of supporting your business, and that's why we have a team specifically dedicated to supporting payroll, credit card processing, remote deposit, and other business operating needs. Make us your first choice for business solutions, backed by the local support of our team. Call us today at 540-260-9060 for a free consultation. Member FDIC.
The past year has taught us the importance of living or working in an atmosphere you love. At Budget Blinds, we specialize in making the ambiance fit your lifestyle. Whether you're looking for blinds, shutters, shades, drapery, or film, our team of window treatment experts will work with you throughout the process to find the solution that fits your needs. Contact us today to schedule your free consultation. Check us out online, budgetblinds.com/Salem.
What's a home? When you grew up, you didn't care if your house was small, if the curtains were old, or if you had to share a room with your brother and the guinea pig because they both smelled the same. The important things about home were sneaking in bed with mom and dad when it thundered, licking the beaters when mom made chocolate cake, playing hide and seek in the backyard. Even now, when you care about things like square footage and neutral colors, you still want to buy a home that gives you all the good feelings of the one you grew up in. You want a home where you walk in the door and say, "This is it. This is the one."
We know more about the heart and soul of a home. For more info, visit nrbgatewayrealty.com.
All right, Hokies, we've got your game day all planned out for you. So grab a pen and paper and write all of this down. We're going to meet up about 4 hours before kickoff at Hokie House to tailgate. Their friendly staff will take care of all of our food and drink needs so we can concentrate on cheering Virginia Tech to victory. Then we'll head over to Lane Stadium with our bellies full to cheer for Tech. And after the game, we're going to want to celebrate. After all the cheering, yelling, and excitement, we're going to be hungry and thirsty again. So after the game, let's head back to Hokie House. Here's the deal. You're going to find lots of things on their menu that you want during the tailgate party, but just couldn't eat. So for round 2, we'll celebrate the Hokies' victory with the best victory party in all of Blacksburg. That party is at Hokie House. Or if you just want to go home and chill after the game, Hokie House can deliver all those items you saw earlier in the day right to your home with their home delivery service. That's Hokie House, 322 North Main Street in Blacksburg, where deliciousness jumps into your mouth.
When you purchase goods or services from businesses located within Montgomery County, you are making an investment towards reviving the health of our local community. By supporting small businesses and large retailers, taxes and sales support our community, and friends and neighbors are able to retain their jobs. Your economic footprint can matters. This message brought from Brown Edwards and Company, Positive Radio Group, and the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce.
Met a girl, thought she was grand, fell in love, found out firsthand, went well for a week or two, then it all came unglued. In a trap I can't grab, never thought I'd be the one who'd slip. Then I started to realize I was living one big lie. She hates me.
It's the Hokie House pregame show on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg, and a good Saturday afternoon to all of you. My name is Paul Van Wagner. Tim Thomas, Dave Perks, Mike McDaniel, John McLaughlin, Andrew Alex has just disappeared. Vintage Andrew, right? John, you don't know him, but this is Andrew in a nutshell, right? We're in the middle of a show. Dude just disappeared on us, man. Just disappeared. Timmy, am I right? Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah.
2 words going.
Yeah. Just out of here. Just out of here. All right. So let's do this. I don't know where Andrew is. I don't know what he's doing. Let's make some picks here. Right now, currently, guys, going on in the third quarter, Virginia and Louisville in action. Louisville's up in this game, John. Are you sticking with Louisville in this one?
I'm sticking with Louisville, man. It's a great team.
I don't think Louisville blows this.
Louisville.
Dave Perks.
Louisville. Yeah, Louisville.
All right, I'm gonna stick with Louisville just because I'm not. Yeah, Louisville. I'm not allowed to pick Virginia. That's rule number 1 about this show. North Carolina is trailing Florida State, guys. Mike. Yeah. North Carolina comes back.
Paul, we got to call it how it is. I thought Carolina would cover here, so this isn't going well. This isn't going well.
Who you got?
Carolina.
You're still going to pick them. You're going to stick with them.
Got to.
Andrew?
Got to.
Current score?
I think it's 20. What is it? 28-17.
I'll stick with the Noles.
Wow, John.
Florida State.
How much do you hate Miami as a player?
I hate them.
Okay.
That's second after UVA.
I love asking that question of former players. Who you
Man,
got?
I'm marinated in that hate.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Florida State pulls this one out.
Okay, Timmy?
Yeah, Florida State, definitely.
All right. Oh, man. You know what? I'm going to go with North Carolina. They got to come back in this thing. This is too good of a team. The Fighting Chase Mumas trailing Syracuse, I believe, by 1 right now, Dave. Can you?
They're back up.
Oh, are they up? They're up.
It's 26-21.
26-21. Timmy, who you got?
Yeah, I was going to take Wake anyway. I even put a bet on it already, so Wake.
All right. Wake Forest. Andrew?
Roll Deeks.
All right. Mikey?
Wake.
David?
Wake keeps it.
Fighting Chase Mumas. We're
Shout
in
out
there, right?
to Chase, man.
Yeah.
Going to Wake Forest here.
That's our boy. We love us some Chase Muma. All right, guys. All right. Here we go. Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, 7:30, ACC Network. I am going to start with Mike McDaniel because he's drinking a beer right now. Mikey, who you got?
I hate this. I've been back and forth on this for multiple days.
Don't do it, Mike.
Multiple
Don't be
days.
that guy.
It's going to be a
the
tight game.
That guy.
Virginia Tech's got the home crowd behind them. Defense has been great all year. Notre Dame's better on special teams, but Braxton Burmeister makes a couple plays late, fourth quarter, proves the haters wrong. Virginia Tech, 24, Notre Dame 21. I got the Hokies. Close.
I like it. Andrew Alex.
Paul, you've been working with me for a long time, and you know what
I will unleash John on you. I swear to God, if you do this.
I come here to predict games. I go to the stadium to be a fan, and my theory has always been hope for the best, expect the worst. I like what Mike is saying about Braxton Burmeister proving the haters wrong. Count me as one of them. I don't think this offense can do it. Notre Dame has too much talent. It's going to be a close game, defensive-minded, 24-21 Notre Dame.
John, make your pick and then take Andrew outside. I want to see how far you can throw him.
Andrew's had a little too much to drink, right?
Yeah.
So I'm
he's
gonna
had a
go
little bit too much to drink all week.
So I'm gonna go Hokies here, man. I'm gonna go 21-17. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be real close.
Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm not going to give my score pick. You can see that at techlunchbill.com. We've had bad history with that. Whoa, there we go. With that said, defense, special teams with guys like Tavion Robinson and Keyshawn King and the Terror Dome. Virginia Tech gets it done in a very low-scoring game. I mean, very low-scoring. Both offenses will be incompetent. Tech wins the hidden yardage battle, though. Penalties, Tech minimizes them.
All right, Dave, voice of the fan. I know where you're going. You have to.
Here's the thing. If you listen to the voice of the fan online the last couple of weeks, we're getting blown out 100-0.
Yeah, but some of those people aren't smart.
That's true.
Big opponent guy.
But you know what? We also have a coaching staff that has a hard time getting out of the way of our players.
That's fair.
I'm going to pick Virginia Tech because I have to.
Yeah.
As the voice of the fan. But I have some serious doubts about their ability to make it happen.
They will prove you wrong. Hokies rout Notre Dame. You heard it right here first.
Let's go.
For Tim Thomas, Dave Perks, John McLaughlin, Mike McDaniel, Andrew Alex, I'm Paul Van Wagner. Enjoy the game, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in to the Hokie House pregame show on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg.
Injecting you with another dose of the